Hi, I'm Tammy Silvers of Tamarini's, and if you are watching this live, then the sad news is this is the end of the Designer Tips and Techniques event that's been going on for 5 days. If you're watching it recorded, hey, I'm so glad you decided to view this. Now, in case you missed any of the events, I have listed the entire schedule again for you. It's going to be there in the description of the video. I know, Lynn, it has been awesome, right? But stay tuned because a little birdie is telling me that, hi, April, that something new may be coming your way soon. And since, in case you didn't know, Cherry Garrity of Cherry Blossom and me, Tammy Silvers of Tamarini's, we put this whole thing together and we've had a blast doing it. And I'm so glad y'all have been enjoying it and getting a lot of great tips, seeing a lot of fun techniques. Hi, Cindy from Wisconsin. Is it cold there? Because I don't know if y'all know, I'm in Georgia and it's May. I mean, hello, we all know it's May, right? And usually I should be able to be at the lake now. It was like 45 degrees this morning. Crazy. So I know that's not cold in some parts of the country, but for me, that's pretty cold. So anyway, stay tuned. Definitely go ahead if you haven't been. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, and then also sign up for my newsletter. Go to my website, sign up for the newsletter. Snowing in New Hampshire. Wow. Is that not crazy for May? Just insane. But sign up for my newsletter. Not only do you get a free pattern download, but then you'll get the inside scoop on these new events that are coming up. I think you're going to like them. So I'm glad that you've been enjoying it. Please. Freeze warnings tonight. Oh my gosh, this weather is just insane. Does no one know it's summer? I mean, hello. So as I said before, when we did the trunk show, please go to all of these designers' Facebook pages and like them on Facebook. Go to their Instagram feeds and follow them on Instagram. Go to their website. Sign up for their newsletters. Show the love. That's how we as designers stay in business, is with all of our followings. Oh, thank you. So please do that. If you like any of the videos, hey, I don't know if you know this or not, but the best thing you can do for us, share. That's right. Hit that share button. Share it to your feed. Leave comments and just spread the word, because, hey, the more people we can get involved and the more people that know about everything that's going on, the better, right? And the more we can keep doing this. So I'm glad to hear that y'all have had a great time. I am glad to know that you've gotten some good content out of this. And here's what I'm going to leave you with today. Now, when I launched all of this, I started out talking about pressing. And if you've taken my class, then you know that I'm a fanatic about pressing. But I was thinking, what else can I talk to y'all about today? And I thought, binding. I just taught a binding class not too long ago, before the world went on lockdown. And I remember one of my students saying, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Thanks so much for explaining it. So I'm going to tilt the camera down to my ironing board, and I'm going to give you some binding tips, some general binding tips. And I'm going to pull the camera back up when I'm done. And if you have questions, if I don't get to them here on the video during the live feed, I will come back and answer them. But, all right, so I'm going to turn this down, and I'm going to get you as close as I can to this. Okay, so I have a little mug rug that I quilted. This is my new, just my type line. I'm so loving. I love chartreuse. I love blue. So I'm super stoked about this. And I've started my binding on this. Now, a couple of things. And this is just my perspective on binding. I like to use a 2 1/4 inch strip. Now, with a 2 1/4 inch strip, this is straight a grain binding. I'm going to press it in half lengthwise, and this is batik, so you may not be able to tell this, but this is wrong sides together. And then I start sewing with a 1/4 inch seam, and I'm going to sew around. Now, here's the first tip that I want to show you. So I'm here at my corner, and I have sewn all the way to the corner. And I'm getting ready now to fold so I can sew my next side. So I'm going to fold up, and I'm going to kind of pop that stitch that's right there, okay? And here's my checkpoints. I want to get a good 45-degree angle. Now, don't stress. You don't have to break out the ruler and measure, but you can just eyeball this and start trusting yourself with the eyeballing, because just like a 1/4-inch seam, I'm telling you, if you trust yourself, you're going to find that you're going to get pretty good at being fairly accurate with that. So I'm going to fold up so that I have a 45-degree angle. Then I'm going to fold down. Now here's the little tip. Okay, so I folded down. When I fold down, I want just a scooch, just a few threads above that raw edge. Okay, now 2 other checkpoints. I need this raw edge right here that I'm waggling up and down. I need that to be even with the raw edge of the quilt that I'm binding, okay? Now, my other checkpoint, I need these fold lines to match up. And my underside is not matching up quite, so I'm going to pull it out a little bit. But I need the fold line for the top part right here and the fold line for the bottom part. I need them to line up. If I have all of that, if I have a couple of threads above my fold lines line up, my raw edges line up, then I know I'm good to go and I can start sewing. And yes, as you can see from over here, I do start sewing at the edge and just sew all the way down. Okay? All right, so that's the folding part. If you do this, then when you get ready to turn this, it's going to be easy breezy. All right, so I'm going to show you what I like to do with my corners. All right, so let's pretend that I've sewn all the way around, but I had to leave that open so I could show you turning. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over, and before I start folding my corners, I'm going to reduce the bulk by trimming away some of that bulk right there on the corner. Okay, so I've trimmed that away. Now, I need to wrap this around. And you're going to need to play with this to see what works best for you. But here's my general tip. And I'm going to say it, I'm going to show you, and I'm going to go back and do it again, because I think then it'll make sense. All right, so here's the front. Oh, I forgot one really big thing. My other thing that I do, and I forgot to tip my iron and get it hot. Before I fold everything, wrap it around to the back, I press it. I do. I press this flat. Now, I don't know how flat it's going to go because my iron's not really hot because I forgot to heat it. But I do press it because I find that I get a much nicer looking binding if I do that. All right, so I've pressed. Now, let's look right here. When you look at this corner, do you see how this side right here is on top and this side is on the bottom of the little fold? All right, so when I turn it over, I find most of the time, 99.9% of the time, that if I do it exactly opposite that, I get a lovely sharp corner. Do y'all see that? Lovely sharp corner. Okay, so this side is on the bottom, this side is on the top. This side's on the bottom, this side's on the top. On the front, it's the exact opposite. Now, I'm sure there's a scientific reason for this. I don't know what it is, but let me show you this again. All right, so let me turn it over. All right, so I'm going to press. I've sewn my, sorry, I got a phone call. Okay. So, when I go to fold, the side that's on the top on the front will be on the bottom on the back. The side that's on the bottom on the front will be on the top on the back. So, I'll show you again. This side right here is on the top when I look at that fold. This side is on the bottom. I'm going to turn it over. And the side that was on the top is the side I'm going to fold in first. And then I'm going to fold my other side. And you can see I futz with it. I do. Don't despair if it doesn't fold immediately. Now, this next part is just me. I am, this is one of my things that I'm really picky about. I try to make that miter on the back look as nice as the miter on the front. You don't have to, but I do. Now, I hand stitch my binding down on the back. So the next thing I like to do is once I get this done, I like to clip it with these clover clips, which are amazing. They really are. But what I will do is, no matter what size the project is, I will take that step for each corner. I will press, I will fold, and then I will clip these down, and then my binding is in place and ready for me to stitch down by hand. So, I hope those tips have helped. Hi. Hope those tips have helped with binding. So, just keep that in mind. 1/4 inch seam. 2 1/4 inches works really great because I like my binding to be filled up by my quilt. So 2 1/4 inches gives me enough room to wrap that binding around to the back and cover my stitching lines. Okay, now some patterns may call for 2 1/2 inches. So what that means is you're either going to have a thicker binding here on the side or you're going to have more binding on the back. That's entirely up to you. I like 2 1/4 inches. Now, the math people out there may say, let me think about this. I'm sewing with a 1/4 inch seam, and so therefore 2 inches should work. Well, let me save you some heartache. I tried it because I thought that myself. I thought, well, I can get 2 inches, and if I'm sewing with a 1/4 inch seam, I have folded this in half, so now it's 1 inch, and did all the math. What happens with a 2 inch strip is that in order to wrap it around and cover your seam, it makes it too tight. It puts too much tension on the edge of the quilt, and your entire quilt cups. Ask me how I know. Yes, tried it, doesn't work. So 2 1/4 is what I recommend, but like I said, 2 1/2, you may see that on some patterns. Remember to cut those corners to reduce your bulk. Okay, remember when you're folding, fold up, 45-degree angle, fold down, leave just a scooch, a couple of threads above the edge of your corner. When you fold it down, those two fold edges need to line up. The raw edge of your binding needs to line up with your binding. And if you do that, you're going to get lovely, crisp corners every time, which is what we're aiming for, right? This is the finish. We are almost done with our quilt. This is the grand finale, so we want everything to look fabulous. So I hope that has helped. Again, I'm so grateful that y'all have enjoyed the tips and techniques. Love the April, thanks. I love the fabric. You're going to be seeing a lot of it because now that it can be released, I'm going to be talking about it a lot, and I have some friends that have done some fabulous projects using it, and I'm going to be sharing their awesome, amazing projects as well. So you're going to be seeing a lot of just my type in the next few months. You may say, okay, enough. We're tired of seeing just my type, but I'm in love with it, and you're going to see a lot of it. So again, the full list of all of the tips and techniques are listed there in the description. I'm going to be popping over to Instagram Live at 8:30, just doing a brief little 60-second video, but then I'm going to be sharing this on my IGTV as well. So if you're not familiar, let me do a little sales pitch for you. It's free. Go over to my IGTV and check that out because every Thursday, a new 60-second success tutorial drops, and that's a micro tutorial. So I've already got several up there. So Shelly, you said, can you put topic on the list of videos? Well, here's why we didn't do that, because I had some designers ask about that. I didn't want anyone to feel like they couldn't talk about something because somebody else was doing it. For example, I think on the first day we had several people do paper piecing. Well, some designers would have, maybe they had planned to do paper piecing, but if they saw paper piecing listed, then they were hesitant to do it because they felt like, oh, that's something somebody else has already done. But here's my take on this. Just like so many things in this world, there are so many ways to do things, right? And quilting, I mean, if you are a quilter, you know this, that there's a multitude of ways to approach many, many things. The way I just showed you that I do my binding, sure, a lot of people may do that, but a lot of people do it differently, and that's okay. So that's why we didn't. We wanted the designers to have the flexibility to talk about what they wanted to talk about. And I had not decided until about 6 o'clock today what I was going to be talking about, and then had to whip up this little mug rug so I could have something to bind to show you. So that keeps everything flexible. So we do give you the schedule of who's presenting, but we've not made them pony up to what are we going to be talking about. And then somebody else posted, sorry, it's already scrolled up past and I can't see, that they use 2-inch strips and a scant quarter. Well, test it on something small like a mug rug. Like I said, for me, evidently my scant quarter was, which is what I try to sew with, was not a scant quarter. It did not work for me. It cupped, and that's why I do 2 1/4 inches. So I appreciate, Shelly, the suggestion. That's great. But like I said, that was our reasoning behind it. We're trying to keep everybody, we want to give everybody the freedom to do what they want to do. And you may not know this, and I'm not going to call anybody out by saying names because there's no point in that. But do realize that for some folks, this may be their first or second Facebook Live. They're nervous about it. This, for some people, is a hard thing to do. So to remove as many obstacles for them and to give them the flexibility to relax and do what they feel like they need to do. So that's why this is supposed to be very loose and very informal. So I know what you're saying, because that way maybe if you're just looking for paper piecing, I would say, you know, there are certain designers that probably tend towards certain techniques. So chances are really good that's what you're going to see from them, right? If somebody does a lot of English paper piecing, then chances are they're going to talk about something associated with English paper piecing. Maybe. Just kind of throwing that out there. I do want to ask if there's anything that you would like to see for these Facebook Live events. Please let me know. I think having a theme, something to tie them together, makes it really easy for y'all. But so if you think of something, tips and techniques are easy. The trunk shows were a big hit, so we may do something like that again, maybe in a few months. But if you think of something else that you'd like to see, let us know, and hey, Cherry and I'll see what we can do to pull it together for you. Now, as you know, I always like to end every broadcast with happy stitching. Thanks for viewing. Y'all have a great Saturday, and celebrate tomorrow the mother that you have, the mother that you had, maybe the mother that you're going to be, or maybe the mother that's in your life. Have a wonderful day. Bye.